Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Speedgaming Live 2023 100% Super Metroid Tournament. Today we have two very awesome runners, Zoast and kashmod, facing off in round one. I am Shiny Zenny. You can just call me Zenny on commentary. I am joined by Professor School. How are you doing, Professor School?
Zenny, I am doing most excellent today. Welcome everyone in to another excellent race in our 100% tournament. I'm stoked for this one. It's always fun to see Zoast run. kashmod and I actually have a long history. I think I faced him in tournament play almost more than anybody else. Talented runner with a lot of different categories, both on the extension boards and on the main boards. And I expect to see good things from both runners.
All right. Well, looks like both runners are ready to go, so we will start them off. And let's all have a good time on this race today. Still waiting for them to start on the restream for us, at least. Is that what you're seeing, Professor?
Yep, looks like we're just stuck in that start screen here. Making us wait this out just a little bit longer.
And we're off. All right. So, as usual, the category starts with Series Station. So our runners will need to go through a series of rooms and then face Ridley for the first time. Professor, what would you say is your favorite and least favorite thing about Series Station?
Favorite thing and least favorite thing, probably both elevator room, because one of them gets me off series and one of them puts me on there. I kid a little bit. I think I put a lot of effort into grinding this game. I take it very seriously. You and I both do. But I think maybe one of the big differences is that you really take a lot of pleasure out of. Maybe I shouldn't say pleasure out of. You do spend a lot of time on series, grinding out good times. I am one who is much more likely to move on as quickly as possible. Maybe to my own detriment.
I do enjoy a good series, a good clean series segment. I don't know if pleasure is the right word either, though, to be completely honest.
Yeah, well, these last three rooms here can be kind of annoying, right? I mean, there's steam everywhere. There's the RNG of the ceiling tiles. You go up this room here and you get a random steam to the face when you're on a good pace. It can be really frustrating. Pretty good times from both our runners, a 46 and a high 45. Looked like mid 45 from kashmod. So nice start. You always like to see people get through there cleanly and not have a 38 or 39 with some ridiculous, multiple steam hits in the final elevator room. So nicely handled there from our two runners.
Absolutely. That last elevator room, you can get trolled by steam, and the worst thing is that if you happen to fall at the beginning of the room, it seems like every single time you end up getting hit by steam just repeatedly on the way up. So you don't just lose 1 second to that fall, you lose like 4.
Yep. It does seem relentless when it happens.
Glad both our runners made it off without issue.
Yeah. Now, I did mention that Cash has run a lot of different categories. Of course, Zoast, known for not just holding top times in a lot of the major categories, but has really done an incredible sweep of, goodness, almost every single category on the boards. I will say, though, with regards to Cash, 100% is not one of the categories that I have seen him run more often. And I actually didn't catch any of his runs in the quals because I was running at the same time. So I don't know what to expect here as far as route. I mean, you could assume early croc because it seems to be more common for folks that don't have times in the 1 teens or lower. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Do you know, Zenny?
I don't know exactly what kind of time to expect from kashmod. I'm checking his qualifier times right now.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. Looks like a handful of 121s and 122s, so pretty solid stuff. But as far as route goes, I'm not sure what to expect. Coming in as the 29th seed overall, it looks like.
Yep, with an average of 122.05 between his best two times. So Zo's taking a little bit of a lead here in early game. That's not too surprising. But you know, as my wife Sassy Zenny likes to always say, it is never over until Samus is on the ship. So do not expect this to go exactly as you may be thinking it will.
No, certainly not, right? I mean, we've already had, I guess most of the matches in this tournament have gone to seed, but we've had at least one major upset so far. And we've had a couple near misses. We've had a couple top runners that have had some space out moments that, like, for example, damage down for stand up. It's a complex category, it's a long category, and you have to be on at every moment because there's so many places where big issues can ensue, like stand up, if you slip up for just the slightest amount of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing about 100% is it does have potential for some soft locks as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, I hope I'm not commentators cursing anybody here by mentioning that, but it is something that our runners need to factor in and be careful about. So.
Yep. Nice bombs time here from Zoast, just coming in at 440 flat.
Very nice.
Cash not that far behind. We got to see some different strats employed there too. Cash used the more sort of ledge grab style climb there. Zoast going with the standard wall jump climb up the side. Always nice to see different ways that get you through the room just at about the same speed. One of the cool things about the movement tech in this game.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about Super Metroid is, I think it's Chabo that I've heard say this before. Every runner has kind of a personality in how they play the game. Mm-hmm. And you can absolutely, like, even if you don't know who a runner is that you're watching, you can pick up on subtle things that they do and identify who it is based on those.
Yep. So. Yeah. Actually, that'd be a fun game to play, would be to set up a stream where we had some clips prepared by folks and then showed it to a couple other runners and see how well you could do at identifying folks just by watching a couple rooms.
Sounds like a fun party game.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll do that at GDQ one year in the hotels.
That does sound like a fun time.
Cash getting a little tripped up, unfortunately. A little bit of bad luck with some of the drops there, and then just one little slip up in execution, and just like that, you have a pretty slow BT fight, unfortunately. So getting a little bit behind early. But, oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that D-boost through the door there.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that. I don't know how it compares to some of the other backup strats in terms of time, but it's very stylish. I liked it very much.
Yeah.
We all know that swag is just as important as speed in this game.
That's true. How does that save on health at all? The waivers do 10, right? What do the pirates do?
Pirates do 20, I believe.
Yeah, so it probably saves 10 health, I guess, or no? You still take 2 pirate hits, right?
Well, if he was able to make it through the first pirate, I believe that would save some energy, yes.
Yeah, interesting.
All right, both runners made the Bach ball under the gate for the super. Zoast is currently collecting the missiles behind the reserve. kashmod just got his supers. The reason these super missiles are so important is they allow you to skip spore spawn. This is something that isn't really touched on very much in commentary these days, because I think we all just kind of, take it for granted that, oh yeah, you just mock ball and you get the supers early. But spore spawn would be a pretty long fight if it were required in this category, and getting those super missiles early saves quite a bit of time. So
yeah, it's a very temperamental fight. It's nice hitbox manipulation there from Zoast to avoid bonking on that platform in the middle of the Green Brin main shaft. Love that. Yeah, it's a long fight. It's requires a lot of execution, and I'm glad that we don't need to do it in this category, that's for sure.
So I would like to note, we're going to see a couple different routes from these runners. You may have noticed that Zoast used regular missiles to open the missile door at the bottom of Green Brinstar shaft, the main room with the elevator. The reason he's doing that is so that he can conserve a super missile to still do the quick crate entry, because he's also going to be using a super missile when he goes up Red Tower early to get the power bombs. And normally, if you did not open that door with the regular missiles like he did, you would end up at the crate entrance with only 2 supers. So it's just a subtle difference in some of the strats that we'll be seeing from Zoast comparatively because of that. So
it's actually really. Go ahead. Sorry.
We should be seeing Zoast go up Red Tower here, and then when kashmod gets there, I would expect them to go down, but we will see.
Yeah, there's only one other runner I'm aware of in the tournament that goes up Red Tower, and it's actually not for late croc, it's an early croc runner. Fat Scott goes up Red Tower early and runs the early PB route to avoid that additional trip, that double dip into Kraid's Lair. But it just goes to show you what I was going to mention before. I think it's so neat. Obviously, we have a lot of people running Hundo, pushing the category, and there's cash going down. I think it's excellent how many different routes there are. Sisreem, if you haven't seen it, folks, go watch it. Runs this incredible Hell Run route that he's managed to get a 1:16 with, so very, very solid time. There's obviously the classic early and late croc. There's the early PBs up. There has been some theory testing from folks last year who did some work with a moon dance route. We can talk about what's optimal until we're blue in the face, but I think it's neat that there's so many routes that compare within, some reasonable amount of time to get through this game. It's fascinating to me.
Was there more Moondance theory testing done last year? I wasn't aware of that.
There was a little bit of, there was a marathon race. There was a 4-way marathon race. So Sisreem and I can't remember the other people off the top of my head.
I do remember that race. I just wasn't sure if there was additional timing done with the
Sisreem. I think Sisreem and Glove maybe had looked into it a little bit to see whether or not it was even reasonable to do, and that's actually where his initial idea for the Hell Run route came from, which is the one that he's still using today in the tournament.
Nice.
Yeah.
So currently, it's going to look like kashmod is actually ahead, but you need to remember that Zoast has already gone up Red Tower to collect some items up there. So. And he also will not have to do a revisit into Kraid's Lair later because he's going to grab some missiles the first time through with the power bombs that he collected. So,
yeah, remind me, Zenny, you know the times pretty well. I think it's about a 40 to 45 second save, not having to dip back into Kraid's Lair the second time, something like that, right?
I don't know how long the segment itself takes. What I can say is the comparison that I did between the routes as a whole was within just a couple seconds of each other. So it's really down to preference on what you decide to do and when. And this is actually something that I've talked with a few different runners about. Different runners have different strengths. So for Zoast, it makes a lot of sense for him to do that early Red Tower because he spent so much time in any percent. Which really optimized his movement there. But for somebody that isn't familiar with the early Red Tower movement and strats, they would likely lose time if they were to try and do that same routing. So,
right, exactly.
Zoast doing some lag reduction on the spikes there as Kraid came out of the ground. I didn't catch if kashmod did that as well or not.
Both through Kraid without getting that DLC, which is always nice. Now, normally, if I was Cash in this situation, I would feel pretty bad because I'm always trying to put 20 energy in reserve there. But if you're going to be an early croc runner, that's going to be a lot less important. In late croc, it's going to be quite important to fill those reserves up and make sure that you have enough for that gauntlet spark. In this case, I'm not sure that it's going to matter as much depending on the route that Cash takes. Oh, just missed the mock ball there from Zoast coming through party room. Yeah, folks, if you want to see the Hell Run route, you can check out the race that I had with Sasreem. There's not much to see on my side but a slideshow. But Sasreem, if you don't know him, he's an absolute treat. He's one of the most gifted runners that we have and one of the most creative. And you should go check out that race from last night because Sasreem has a really excellent route. It's not exactly the route that he intended. He had to make some adjustments on the fly. But keep an eye out for Sasreem's next race against Dirty Mike. Coming up in the redemption bracket, because I think we're all in for a treat.
Yeah, not to take the focus away from the runners that are on stream today, but I also just want to give a shout out to Susream for just his incredibly unique in a very good way. Let me clarify that. He has a very unique in a very good way play style. He just kind of sees the game differently than anybody else that I've seen play it. So. All right, so kashmod is currently grabbing the missiles in, this is Cathedral, right? In the lava. Zoast just grabbed high jump. So he's a couple rooms behind visually.
I love those little optimizations that you can make having power bombs already. Zoast dropping a power bomb there in the high jump E-tank room and saving a little bit of time coming up both through the room the first time, not killing the Sova, a few frames, and then dropping that power bomb on the way out, not having to wait for a regular bomb to blow that block. I think those little small optimizations are such a neat way to take advantage of having the power bombs early in this route.
Absolutely, and like I said, if you compare the routes, overall one with another, if you don't have those power bomb optimizations in there, it would definitely be losing time comparatively. So not only are they really cool in that they're done, but also they're very important. So you may also see Zoast use a power bomb in the speed booster room, and that if he does it, it might look a little funny, and you might think like, why is he doing that? The reason for that is that when lava is rising, it makes kind of that rumbling noise. And that actually causes a sound delay on the door transition, which delays how long the door takes to load the next room. The power bomb overrides that sound delay and saves a little time, so we'll see if he does it or not.
What a cool discovery to be able to go into the game code and figure out that there's a sound cue that needs to finish playing before you can actually get out of the room, and that we can manipulate that in a number of different rooms, right? You can do it here. Zoast did not, but there's a couple places, right? In leaving Edecoons, the cries that the Edecoons make coming up the shaft can drag the sound cue out. There's a couple places where power bomb clears can be useful. What's the other one? Amphitheater, or not amphitheater? What's the big room in LN? Oh
Amphitheater.
It is amphitheater.
In
yeah.
Norfair.
Yeah. Nice D-boost there from Zoast and single chamber. Not an easy one. Very easy to get thrust back up onto that platform in a very frustrating manner.
Very nice early door shot from kashmod. I don't know if anybody else saw that leaving wave, but he did an angle shot before he jumped up to the door, and it opened it early. It's not easy to do. I just recently implemented that myself, and I miss it quite often. So.
Yeah, I tried to pick that one up from MGA. I think is the first person that I saw do that for KPDR. There's Zoast went for it too, and also got it. So
yeah, very, very nice.
Really nice.
Okay,
I think it's like a 10 or 15 frame save or something like that.
Looks like kashmod is going down to Crockemeyer, our friendly neighborhood Crockemeyer. And Zoast was able to get through Bubble Mountain very quickly because of his power bombs. So Zoast is not going to Crockemeyer. He is doing the late Crockemeyer route. So at this point, we're going to have a pretty major desync between our runners until... When is it?
Leaving Upper Norfair for the last time? Is that right?
Yes.
Just before X-Ray.
Yes. Just before X-Ray. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they'll come out of different entrances coming back from Lower Norfair, and they'll meet up in Business Center.
If you count the spike suit,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
You could say X-Ray itself.
Yeah,
but in terms of item syncing, it would be leaving Upper Norfair, heading to X-Ray.
I looked away for a second. I'm not sure if kashmod went for the wraparound shot there. It's customary that you would in early Croc here to try to pre-open this door, and then you can spark across to the Croc PBs. And in the meantime, on the left side of our screen, Zoast nicely executing the ice escape.
Yeah, he also got the mock ball coming out of Ice Beam, which is really hard. So
yeah. Nope, he didn't pre-open the door, but that's a fine way to do it as well.
I want to apologize in advance. This is something that I mentioned to Sassy yesterday, actually. One of the reasons I don't do commentary very often is that my brain likes to focus on a single run when I'm watching races. I don't know why that is. So if I end up talking about Zoast too much or kashmod too much, feel free to just point it out, Professor, and I will do my best to fix that.
I won't even need to point it out. That's why there's two of us. We'll work off each other, and it'll be great. I think it's actually really neat that we've got both the world record holder and I did just get a 118, so I'd say a pretty decent hundo runner. I think we bring a lot of knowledge to commentary, and I'm excited for the opportunity to share some of that with our viewers today.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, very nice speedball from kashmod into grapple.
Yeah. Oh, look at this. We got incredible speed strats on both sides. Cash getting that speedball into grapple with the quick unmorph, and Zoast getting that really tricky and really beautiful blue strat in Beta Power Bomb's room there. That's nice lag reduction. Obviously a much faster strat, but tricky. Definitely a more difficult one than one of the more sort of common strats that you'd use there with the short charge.
All right, Zoast is going to be setting up for Ocean Fly here. Let's see if he gets it.
Looks good so far.
Yeah, very nice Key Hunter room.
What are your eyes?
I'm gonna do what I always do and say, that looked kind of late. I'm not sure. Yes,
there it
okay,
is.
Perfect.
Nice.
Take that, game.
You can sort of look at the little bits coming off the particles of the ice beam there, but sort of depending on how far you scroll the screen, I think it can be a little misleading sometimes. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors that go into whether that strat works. The beam will move at different speeds depending on how much run speed you had before you jumped. How far to the right you are before you do the shine spark will adjust when the screen scrolls. There's a lot, so.
Nice little extra speed that Zoast got there. I've seen you and a couple of runners, I've tried to institute it myself, is taking that run up from the spooky missiles just a little bit further to try to get a little bit of extra run speed into the mock ball coming out. It's tight, but you can save some frames getting that faster horizontal speed.
All right, let's see what kind of pattern Zoast gets from Phantoon here.
Health is a little bit low for Zoast, so we're hoping for good health drops at the end of this fight.
And he gets the 1 round! Are you kidding me?
Folks, get your flips out. Holy
Ladies
smoke.
and gentlemen, that is, I believe, the first time that anybody has done a 1-round Phantoon fight with missile Dopplers in a race setting.
Holy smokes. Hype it up in chat.
Truly is the GOAT.
Got pretty decent health drops, not excellent. We'll see if he decides. I feel like with this health, at least I know I wouldn't go for the Kazan boost, and there's been talk lately about whether or not it's faster and more consistent to just go for the 2 D boosts off the ceiling spikes. But you're getting a little low on health if you're going to do the D boost coming out of left supers, and then you do that Kazan boost, you're pretty much going to be out of health. So I think it's out of the question at this point. Is that fair to say, Zenny?
Sorry, I was engaging chat a little bit there, and I actually did not hear your question.
No worries. No, just with regards to Zoast's health here, it seems like he has to play it a little bit more conservative in these rooms coming up.
Yes and no. I mean, it depends on what kind of strats he would normally go for. He should not do the ball bounce into this next room.
That's pretty much all I was saying. Yeah, just no ball bounce here.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, just the health was too low at that point. Probably just 2 deboosts. Yeah, nicely executed with this late deboost that's going to get him all the way across, almost all the way across that platform. Really, really nicely done.
Yeah, very nice. Also, sorry if I hurt anybody's eardrums. I did lean way back in my chair when I yelled there to try and make sure that I didn't blow out any headphones users, but you know.
It was hype, yeah. Well-deserved response, I think. That was pretty incredible. Nice single bomb jump there. Not the fastest strat, but definitely the fastest, I think, strat that you can make very consistent at this point. Really, really nicely done there from Zoast. Not having grapple, Cash will at that point. So we'll see a different set of strats getting that wreck ship E-tank.
Oh, Cash falling into the moat. That's too bad. It's not too awful when you have grapple beam, but it is still a time loss for sure.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so Cash turning off Spazer now to do some X Factor strats, presumably on Phantoon. Speed keep? Looks good.
Yeah, very nice. Let's see if these robots will cooperate. So far, so good. And Zoast is out of the true worst room in the game.
Nice. And this ball up should get him all the way over the platform. Let's see. Love that. Love that. What a beautiful way to enter this room. Okay, Phantoon, what do you got for us? Round number 2 here.
A little early on that first super, which is that's a worse mistake than it looks like, to be honest, because not only are you losing time, but you're losing even more time because of having less supers overall. Looks like kashmod is going for an X Factor Phantoon strat. And Zoast setting up for robot flush in bowling. Let's see if he gets it.
Sounded good.
Looks and sounds good to me.
Yeah, I suspected that one's good. Nice 2 round from kashmod. First round X Factor and second round ballistics is the optimal way to take out Phantoon in that 2-round pattern like that. Really, really nicely executed from a person who has a lot of experience with KPDR, where that's going to be a strat that he's maining. So nice job from kashmod.
Sorry, I forgot to mute. Forgot to mute before I was typing there.
No worries. Robots flushed nicely. I always hold my breath right before I come up to those robots, even before I'm worried about the flush. There's that charge shot that you have to do, and it's one of the strangest ones in the game in terms of getting that charge shot to hit. Sometimes it just doesn't, and I fail to understand what I did differently to make those blocks not break away.
Yeah, that strat can be a little weird. I haven't personally had any issue with it on this most recent grind, but there were definitely times previously where I felt the same.
Pretty nice gravity time from Zoast there, actually. I'm not looking at his splits, but considering he went up red tower for those PBs and spent the extra time collecting the extra item in Kraid's Lair. 27.2x, 27.3x gravity is a really good time for a race.
Yeah, he's not on technical PB pace if you're considering his 112 PB, but he is definitely on very comfortable tournament PB pace. So, not going to spoil that. Not going to spoil the specifics, I mean.
Mm-hmm. I think Zoast had run his 2 qualifying times were both 114s, if I remember correctly. I'm not looking at the spreadsheet right now.
He was seed number 4 with an average of 114.14.
Yep, a 114.06 and a 114.22 were those 2 qualifying times. Really excellent times, of course. Here's the wraparound shot setup. Whoops.
Way to commentator's curse, Prof. You gotta wait until they get the strat before you talk about it. That's why I didn't say anything about 1 rounds.
Oh, let's see this strat here from kashmod, Street Sweeper. Alrighty.
Beautiful Street Sweeper, and...
Do we have it?
Zoast with the Samus Expert Master Back Gauntlet Spark. Very nice.
Yeah. Today, Zoast is a procreation professional. Nicely done, Zoast.
Having a little trouble with that moonfall there. And kashmod is out of attic. Zoast making one of my most hated mistakes in this entire game, bonking that Kago. I really hate that mistake.
Yeah, it's a frustrating one. It's a big time loss. And I don't know, somehow as much as I practice that jump, it never seems to get any easier.
Absolutely.
Nice backup strat there. Zoast missing the initial moonfall through the green Bryn shaft there, backing it up with a second one, and then doing some lag reduction by trying to kill one of the enemies on screen after dropping the power bomb. Here's another one of those rooms, by the way, where you could potentially use a power bomb to clear that sound cue that Zenny was talking about earlier. I think if you do this room optimally, you don't need to actually lay that power bomb. You can still get a good time. That looked like a pretty good door transition. But I know that if I'm a little bit late on my wall jumps, I will lay that power bomb because the further up those etiquins come on the wall, the more likely I am to lose time to that sound cue clear.
Yeah, in my personal experience, it seems almost completely random. Obviously, I don't think it actually is, but laying the power bomb is a safe way to guarantee that you don't lose time in that door transition. So.
Okay, so you don't have a hard and fast rule for sort of when you do or choose not to use the power bomb there, is that right?
The only time I won't use one is if I feel like I am extremely low on power bombs and I'm worried about running out later in the run. That's very rarely, though.
Nice blue strat here into the wave gate room. Nicely done from Zoast. Beautiful stuff.
Very swag.
By the way, folks, while our runners go collect a couple more items, we can take a look at the schedule here. So this is this 4 versus the 29 seed, Zoast and kashmod, and they are playing for an opportunity to face Omnigazer. Omni with the one of the early round upsets, pulling off a nice victory over Amarovsky. And yeah, reminder that this is a double elimination tournament, so even if one of our runners falls here, there is a redemption bracket to get all the way back into contention. In fact, we're quickly coming to the end of our first round matchups. We've got a Real Cutie and P-Toil coming up later this weekend. And I think later tonight, even, Bressingham and Eddie is a really hype 16-17 matchup. So stay tuned, folks, because we have a lot of good speedrunning action coming up.
Yes, the P-Toil and a Real Cutie is indeed tonight in just a couple hours. So,
gotcha. Yeah, and then we'll be on to round 2 and both brackets. All 32 competitors still alive. Very, very exciting stuff. Oh, Eddie and Bress are playing right now. Oh, goodness gracious. Well, there you go. Thank you, Timon.
Zoast failing that charge clip there, which honestly, that clip is very specific. It is definitely frustrating missing it, though.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a pretty nice time save, probably about a full second, but when you do fail it, it's you lose just about as much time back. So I know a lot of runners, myself included, can do the clip, but maybe not consistently enough, and I just double powerbomb there, so I don't even have to worry about the time loss.
Makes sense. I also want to point out kashmod did successfully get both missiles on his way down the crumble shaft and gauntlet, so no need to worry about him losing an entire minute there doing a revisit.
We don't want to see that. Man, that Kago is just dominating right now. Took out Zoast and then took out Cash a few minutes later. That's okay. We'll get our revenge with the powerbomb manipulation and low percent speed.
All right, Zoast is going to set up for a Shine Spark here with a short charge to get the missiles. See, I mentioned it before he got it, and now he's struggling. That is the rule. That is the rule, Professor School.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
You can't talk about it until they do it, or you ruin everything. That's just how it goes. I feel awful. Dang it. The commentator's curse.
Going back before to the discussion we were having about strat selection, one of the things that I always remember Kip bringing up on commentary when he would do it, that I always really appreciated, he talks about this in his stream a lot as well, is you got to make the decisions that are right for you when it comes to strats, and sometimes that might even change depending on the situation. So I know that if I'm doing PB runs consistently for a few months, versus if I'm prepping for a tournament, I might actually modify my strats a little bit to make things more consistent. In order to try to increase the, maybe give up some frames, 20, 30 frames here or there in a room, but for much greater increase in consistency, just to know that I'm going to be executing on a more average better for my tournament races. It's not everyone's philosophy, but for me, that really works. I don't know about you, Zenny.
That is a great strategy. I've done it both ways. As for this tournament, I'm not really changing anything just because it's 100% is my favorite, and one of the reasons it's my favorite is because of all the cool strats.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to not do the cool strats, because I want to make the race hype for people. And if that means that I mess something up and I pay the price, then so be it. But it does make sense to have race strats and try to improve consistency. Definitely.
Cash, grab that super. He ran so close to it twice. I don't know about you, Zenny, I find it so hard to see supers laying around and not being able to pick them up. I don't know, I'm always just thinking about Ridley in this run. I'm always thinking about Ridley.
Yep, super missiles tend to have a way of showing up when you need them most and being just out of reach in this category, definitely. The ones that seem to show up the most consistently for me that you just really can't afford to grab are the Metroid. After the reverse Wample Spark.
Oh, yep.
Is what we're gonna call it. After Dragon, that one will tend to drop a super, and it's not worth it to grab it. You just need to go. And then after Cack Alley, there's a Metroid there that if you kill it, will often drop a super as well.
Let's see how Phantoon behaves today. Looks like a good setup. Yeah, the particles look pretty nice.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice fight from Zoast. Oh, that's a rough mistake. See, there's a super. There's a super that he couldn't grab because it dropped as he ran through the door.
Yep.
What a tease, game. What a tease.
One I will sometimes grab, depending on my super count, is actually after full halfy. You can often get a super off that Metroid, and it doesn't cost much to swing back across and pick it up on the way back down to the green door entering this precious room.
Yeah, that one is like a 1 second loss, or something like that. So it's not terrible, but it's really, in order for me to justify grabbing it, I have to be really low on supers.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely more worth it in a race setting, though, I will say that.
Yeah, great point.
All right, Zoast setting up for his Dragon fight here.
Looks
Look
good so
to
far,
me.
yeah.
He's doing his double X Factor strat, and he gets gooped, but he's able to escape it with a Shine Spark.
That's
Dragon,
so annoying.
Dragon be nice. Dragon be nice. Oh, jeez.
Seriously, Dragon?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
This could be bad.
Yeah, I don't like this. Oh,
okay. That was scary.
I think you and I are both holding our collective breaths at that point. My goodness. Folks will remember, if they've watched the previous iteration of this 100% tournament in 2021, when I took almost 700 damage against Keku in a race that would have sent the winner off to play Hoda Ruby in the round of 16. And after Keku died at Wrecked Ship, I then took 700 chain damage and died in Dragon's Lair. So very happy to see no such issue for Zoast and get out of there cleanly. There's the super. There it is, Zenny.
Told you.
Yep. Yeah, I tend to find that the chain damage is more likely when you spark from the back, because you can get stuck in a goop essentially inside of Dragon's hitbox, and it's sort of just GG at that point. I think it's a little safer from the front. That's been my experience anyway. I don't know if that's a cold hard rule.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to know all the specifics of exactly why and when it happens. I've heard that it happens if you get stuck between Dragon's hitboxes, like pixel perfectly. All I know for sure is it seems to happen more often if you've done more damage to Dragon before the final spark, like too much damage. So that's part of why I was worried on that last spark.
Yeah, same. Her belly was pretty red at that point. The last thing you want to do is get stuck inside of those hitboxes at the end. But it worked out okay. All right, very important trick coming up here for Zoast.
That's too bad.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Gotta reset the room and try again. All right, very nice second attempt there. So that is that's got to be pretty frustrating for Zoast. It's about a 10-second loss, the way that happened. So pretty sure he's not on race PB pace at this point anymore. But honestly, still a very clean run from Zoast so far in general. As far as kashmod, looks like he just picked up the missile and the super in, what is the name of that room? This one's the Maridia bug room.
I think it's called Oasis.
That sounds right.
That's what I call it.
Zoast picking up spring ball. Oh, it's watering hole. That's right.
Oh, right.
Which one is Oasis? Now I'm curious. Kashmod is going to be heading into Botwoon now. We'll see how that fight goes. Looks like he is setting up for an X Factor. Nice spiteful missile there.
Okay.
Very nice. Very nice Botwoon fight from kashmod.
Those Puyos just getting in the way of Zoast. That's such a frustrating room there, depending on how you do that turnaround quick drop and then that downward shot to break those blocks where Zoast just left coming out of spring ball. You can freeze those Puyos there, and then it just gets, once they're frozen, it just gets so annoying to get through there. Because then you try to do a second shot to freeze the Puyo, but then you freeze the second Puyo and you kill the first Puyo. It just, the whole thing can become a mess. It's really frustrating.
Absolutely, yeah. That's kind of a recurring theme in Super Metroid in general, is sometimes when things go wrong, they just go very wrong.
I can't remember what strat Zoast uses here. I'll be curious to see.
For
There's
plasma?
been a lot of, yeah, there's been a lot of really cool modifications to this room over the last several years.
It looks like he went for the standard fastest hundo strat. Struggling with it a little bit. Lost a few seconds there. It is a very cool strat, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when Hodarubi and Scotty sort of reworked that room. Was maybe even at the last Hundo tournament. Goodness gracious, was it that long ago? But like suddenly people were saving like a full 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds in that room, which was pretty incredible.
Yeah, so kind of what happened was everybody had been doing that room in pretty much the same way for years and years. Oh, the up spark there, that's too bad.
Yeah.
This is some deja vu with Dragon.
I know. Oh gosh.
With the slow swoop too, ugh.
Yeah, so right now the right Kago in Mushroom Kingdom and Dragon are 2-0 against our runners, unfortunately.
Nice spike suit though.
Nice spike suit. Yeah, nicely done, Cash.
So going back to Plasma, kind of what happened was everybody been doing the same strat for a long time, and Hodarubi came up with a strat using a power bomb, which is what you do in any percent. That was a little faster than the standard strat that people had been doing up until that point. And then me just being the way that I am, I'm just garbage at controlling Samus and lag. And that powerbomb creates a lot of lag frames.
It does.
So I kept looking for alternatives on ways to improve the room further, and then I had the thought that I should look at how the task does it. And the way that the task does it gave me the idea for what is the current strat being used. So,
Gotcha. Okay. I thought there was an intermediate optimization in there that C. Scotty W had come up with before you came up with the current strat.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There might be something like that. I will say C. Scotty W does have, as far as I know, the fastest room time with that strat being, I believe it's an 8:45, which is just ridiculous.
That's so ridiculous. My goodness.
The other thing I want to say is I don't really feel comfortable taking credit for the creation of the strat, since I really just took inspiration from the task strat. So, you know, please don't like credit me with the plasma room strat, but that's kind of the story of how it came about. So
I think that's a cool bit of history. That's part of what we do, right? Is we feed off of each other, we get ideas from each other, and then there's people like Snick who do these incredible things that give us ideas. You pulled one of them off in your run the other day. That new spark that comes up through the Kazans in Lower Norfair, coming up through Wasteland. Yeah, I mean, I think that's so cool, right? That we get these ideas, we test them out, and sometimes TAS is impossible for humans, but sometimes it actually gives us ideas. I think that's very, very interesting.
Absolutely. I think one of the coolest things about Super Metroid speedrunning in general is how much of a group effort it is. You know, we've had a ton of different runners over the years that contributed to the strats that are used in runs, and some of them are top runners, some of them are, you know, just kind of casual runners, and some of them don't even really run the game at all, but they know how to move Samus, and they have their own ideas and they share them, and people implement them. So and then of course, like you mentioned, we have, you know, the tassing community, which gives us a ton of ideas as well. And you know, I won't say that we would be lost without them necessarily, but the game would be in a very different place without the tassing community, for sure.
Yep.
So
yep. Now, Cash, of course, not having to pay any mind to the Puyo Ice clip, just using the grapple as intended to get here and pick up his spring ball. Zoast, meanwhile, we just saw a second ago, did a really beautiful blue strat in spring ball form, coming through Croc Speedway and fixing that really troublesome door going through the end of that speedway. Really, really nicely done. And we're going to see a GT fight coming up here for Zoasty.
You know, Prof, I gotta say, I take issue with you using those words as intended, because we all know that Deer Force knew. Okay.
About Puyo Ice Clip?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Deer Force knew everything.
I will posit that Deer Force can both know and design the game to be intended a certain way for the casual player. Fair to say?
That's fair to say.
Okay. A little lag reduction from Zoast there, taking that damage intentionally as the power bomb goes off from GT. Now, I don't know if Zoast is currently employing the strategy of using missiles to get below that threshold in order to generate more potential orbs for super drops. But in this particular instance, he used a lot of missiles because of the hiccup with the dragon fight. And it looks like he may have gotten a super or two off those orbs. I didn't pay very close attention. But that's also, I think, a relatively new idea when it comes to potentially saving up supers or collecting supers for the Ridley fight, is intentionally manipulating your missile count to get a different pattern or attack from GT.
It's not so much a new idea. It is something that had been mentioned, at least to me, years ago. But I will say that with the advent of more consistent 27 plus super Ridley fights, it became much more appealing to try and save supers for the Ridley fight, even at the cost of going a little slower earlier in the run.
Right. There's
Good job avoiding those crumble blocks.
There's the super off screen you were talking about, that Metroid drops. Cash forced to leave it behind. Just no reasonable way to pick that one up.
Yep. Game is a tease. It's a big tease.
There's a sound cue clear from Zoast, clearing that rumbling sound that takes place as the acid is rising in Amphitheater. So kind of a low super count here for Zoast. So we're going to have probably a less aggressive Ridley fight. Usually you're probably wanting mid to high 20s already at this point if you're thinking about a very aggressive Ridley fight.
Yeah, this is a pretty low count. The Metal Pirates can drop you, a good number of supers, but we're not going to imply that they would do that because, of course, that would just force them not to because of Commentator's Curse, so... And of course, they only drop one. Why did I say anything at all?
One super.
Zanny, breaking your own rules again.
Zoast not getting the full speed necessary for the spring ball strat there, but backed it up very, very nicely with that powerhouse. All right, so look like we're getting an 8 plasma shot, 18 super fight from Zoast. Oh, no, we're getting a couple extra plasma shots here, okay?
That's actually smart the way that he's doing this.
Yep.
To be honest.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. And then you can finish up with the plasma as he comes down. Yep.
Yeah. With the swoop, it made a lot of sense for him to switch back to beams there. If Ridley had given more pogos, it could have gone either way. But with the swoop, I definitely would have switched to beams as well.
Yeah, and saved 3 extra supers there at the end and got decent super drops also. So leaving with 9 here, you feel a lot better that if you burn those supers, maybe got bad luck with the drops and suddenly left Ridley with something like 3, right?
Yeah, leaving with 9 here is pretty good.
I like that spring ball strat from Cash. It's not the fastest way through the room, but I know that those quick drops can give people a lot of trouble. And coming out there, if you just stay in morph and spring ball back up, you can actually get a pretty decent strat there. Oh, and
Zoast with the Wasteland Spark. That is the new strat that you were talking about earlier. Nicely executed. Little trouble getting out of the door there, but in general, very, very good.
Zenny, remind me, when you do that, do you leave the 1 block open and still do the clip, or do you do what Zoast did there, which is to lay the power bomb higher and come all the way through straight into a deboost? I'm not sure I've seen that variation.
I think the reason Zoast did that is because his spark was further right. So the Kazan actually, when it damaged him, it bounced him in the wrong direction. And
okay, I see.
Rather than trying to lay the power bomb early, I think he was just focused on not falling there. Because that would be really bad if you got stuck below the platform. So,
and maybe I'll also point out here, this is something that I think you had to do in your first 112 world record. Zoast needed to time very specifically his damage boost there coming off of that Fire Flea because he was too far left to buffer that input. And that's actually really tricky because you're coming in there with a reasonable amount of speed. You need to time the end of that fanfare and then deboost back off it and onto the Frozen Fire Flea platform you created. That is not easy, folks. That's really, really nicely done little backup there for Zoast. And I think that's a big difference, right? For some of these top runners, the ability to pull out these very fast backups, even when things are not quite going right, as opposed to having the whole room fall apart, it keeps the clock going in your favor, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, yeah, shout outs to the Hodorubi special there. Awesome strat.
This heckin' 1-tile gap, man. This game and 1-tile gaps, I swear. And Zoast has like a funny history with this tile over some of his world records in the past.
Yeah, so I was actually going to mention that. So one of Zoast's world records is he got a 1:15:20 back in the day, And I believe it was that run, if I recall. He got stuck on that block for
I think it was.
I think it was like 5 seconds or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember
Maybe
seeing
on the
that.
way back out also?
I'm not sure about on the way back out, but I remember seeing that and just being like, man, it can't be that hard to get into that block. And every time I screw up that strat now, I think this, that's what I get. That's what I get for thinking that back in the day, because it is such a pain.
It is. It is. By the way, kashmod really, really nicely taking care of that blue strat going there.
Blue fireball?
Blue fireball, yeah. I know that is one that you stayed with for a long time. It's just such a beautiful looking strat. And he executed it really, really nicely into the spring ball, going all the way across that acid there into this pre-GT room. Nicely done. Cash really showing off some really nice tech in this run.
Yeah, I still do blue fireball in my runs today. The alternative strat is harder for me, and when I timed it, it was, I believe it was a little faster, but not enough to switch because of the consistency, and also, like I mentioned earlier, the swag.
Yep.
So little struggle on Bubble Mountain there for Zoast, but looked generally pretty clean overall. And does he get the D-boost? He does.
Nice.
Very
Love
nice
that
D-boost
D-boost.
through the door.
Very clean mock ball over the top of Croc there. Ooh, didn't mean to.
So
the two supers?
I kind of wonder if he did that out of spite, just because of being unpleased with the way that the last half of this run has gone. I'm not sure, but I will say I know that Zoast does intentionally missile that energy tank podium now, because I think it was at GDQ actually, but it may have been just before GDQ. There was one time that I just randomly asked him, I was like, why are you missiling that podium, dude? And he was like, I don't know. And I was like, you're hurting its feelings, or like something like that. And now he does it every single time just because I made that comment, so.
Yeah, I have the same question as chat. I saw Cash lay the power bomb and go up. Did he actually get GT Supers before the fight?
I was not paying attention.
Definitely did not get them after the fight. Huh. I might go back and check the VOD. I hope that he got them.
Chat is saying he got them before the fight.
Excellent. Thank you, chat.
This is not the last race for tonight. There is one more between, I think it's Peach Oil and a Real Cutie. Yes, at 10 p.m. Eastern. Zoast picking up Grapple Beam.
By the way, I don't think we mentioned, but we didn't call specific attention to it, but Zoast did get that spike suit off Croc.
Okay. I was distracted, so I did not notice.
Yeah. So Zoast is carrying a spike suit now, right? So anything that would trigger a Shine Spark would blow this spike suit. And so Zoast is going to try to continue to go as fast as possible, but without throwing any of those inputs that would normally use up a Shine Spark.
Any of those inputs being pressing up or R, angle up or angle up during a spin jump, or while being during a jump, I guess actually is technically the way that it is. There are some other instances where it can execute, for example, if you lose momentum in a jump, or if you try to do a stationary jump without holding angle down. So it's pretty tricky to hold on to it.
It is. It is, and sometimes you're so careful holding on to it that you actually end up losing time in the process of actually carrying it to X-ray, which is another thing that late Croc runners need to pay attention to.
That super looks good to me.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Very nice mock ball
And
there.
the mock ball under the gate. Oh, Ridley, stop it. Come on.
Yeah, Ridley giving kashmod a heck of a time here. Zoast, honestly, I'm amazed he didn't lose his spike suit there in Business Center. There were a couple ledge grabs there that, if it were me, I want to say I would have lost it. So.
Okay, another nice spring ball strat coming up. Nice. So many different places to keep your momentum moving and keep this stuff going forward at a fast clip. See, do we get some lag reduction here from Zoast? Freezing that B-Tom and just getting under the single block and using that spark to go all the way across this room. Beautifully executed there, Red Power. Yeah.
Very clean.
That's hard.
That is hard to do that fast.
And you're doing that partially blind too, right? Because Samus is going behind that sort of that hidden area in that middle of that red tower area. And it is tricky to know exactly what Samus is doing sometimes and where she is. Oh, speed keep attempt.
Yeah, very nice speed ball from kashmod, leaving Wasteland.
Just one super missile for Zoast. Huh.
All right, I'm going to commentator's curse here and say Zoast is definitely going for reverse slinky. I hope he gets it. Oh, man, he didn't even go for it.
Yeah, he pulled up. He pulled up.
I'm so surprised. Not. No, honestly, well, you know, and then he has trouble with that speedball, so I still hecked him over. I'm sorry, Zoast, my bad. No, it's most people don't go for reverse slinky, and that used to frustrate me, but honestly, at this point, I've had kind of a change in mindset over the years with, you know, do you go for the most optimal thing or do you go for consistency? These days, I usually go for consistency. There are, you know, a couple exceptions to that. Like reverse slinky.
Like reverse slinky.
But I understand the decision not to even try for it from people like Zoast and Behemoth. I absolutely get it. Very nice corner mock there from Zoast.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. There's some nice visual cues for it, but still, despite the setup cues being there, it's just one of those strats that always seems to contribute to this blue brain cleanup being notoriously one of the most technically challenging throughout the run.
Absolutely. And I just want to mention, every time I find a good, consistent visual cue for that trick, it stops working. So I've stopped trying to find a good visual cue for it, honestly.
It's all just feel now for you, is that right?
It pretty much is. I mean, I try to do the same inputs every time, but I don't try to look for visual cues on where to jump or when to jump or anything.
That's
like
kind
that,
of surprising for me to hear for the guy 2 or 3 years ago who's like, nothing is ever done on feel in this game.
No, it's true. It is true. You know, again, there's a couple exceptions to every rule, and that's, as of right now, that's one of them.
Okay. I think you mentioned this maybe on comms the other day, or maybe it was in your stream. But you know, we have these things that we know so well and they're so ingrained in us. This doesn't apply to that specific strat going to Billy Mays. We have these strats that are so ingrained, and what happens is, gosh, you do a couple hundred attempts over a couple weeks or months or whatever, and things drift, gosh, just ever so slightly. And then we have to go and retool them. And half the time it's like, why did that even break? It should be fine. I think it's the constant struggle with it's not just staying derusted. I mean, I think it's just this weird like recalibration that happens sometimes with some of the strats, especially the more finicky ones.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I made that comment in an interview after a race.
That's what it was
yesterday.
Yeah, that was in your race interview. That's right.
Yeah, because my botwoon broke. Guess who spent an hour practicing botwoon today?
Yeah. And we'll probably spend an hour tomorrow too, right?
Yeah, well, see, so I'm feeling confident now, so I'm going to mess it up. I'm gonna mess it up in more runs because I'm feeling confident, and then I'll keep working on it. That's just how it goes.
Oh, this looks like it might work for Zoast. Yeah, nice. You can usually tell by the color of Samus, her sprite going through the door, whether you have a reasonable chance at that really nice mock ball that he just pulled off there.
Yeah, very nice. All right, kashmod on his way out of Upper Norfair. So remember, it looked like he was further behind than he actually was because of Crocomire. So
that's right, chat. Zoast skipped all four for reserve tanks, which is why you don't see that. No, of course not. I know. Chat was just kidding, but you see, Zoast
I've always, honestly, I've always been a little scared of the way that Zoast turns his reserves off, because it can mean death at Mother Brain. I shouldn't have said that. Crap.
This is my favorite part of this little breath that you get to take before Turian, is actually just practicing these horizontal bomb jumps. I want to say this is like maybe 121 pace for Cash, which would be up there with his best qual times. Zoast on, I don't know, what, 115 pace, something like that. Love that group strat there from Zoast. Very quickly getting all of those final Metroids together. Adjusting very nicely over the later course of this run from having him... He was down all the way to 1 super coming up out of X-Ray and handled it really nicely, and now with this final grouping strat should be just fine coming through. Of course they drop 0 supers. This freaking game, man, I swear. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But
at least I didn't say it this time.
You know, I mean, that's not on me. Listen, this game does dumb stuff. Goodness gracious, if anyone was just watching Oates' world record grind in any percent, the number of times that he got hecked in Turian, it's cruel, man. These Metroids are cruel to us. They really are, and I think they enjoy taking the fun out of our lives.
Looks like Zoast is going for Stachio skip here. Oh dear.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh dear. What? What?
How did he not get grabbed?
I don't know. What in the world?
It had to be a frame. It had to be 1 frame, right?
It had to be. It had to be 1 frame, 1 pixel even. I mean, that was nuts.
Nice backup there from Zoast. Just missing the first one.
That was cool, actually. I like how he did that.
I've actually I've developed a backup there where you actually spin jump. If you miss the down back, you spin jump into the Rinka, and then you unmorph, and use grapple to pull yourself through. Unmorph, down back, and then you use grapple to pull yourself through before your iframes run out. It's pretty consistent, but I haven't tried that one before. That was pretty swag from Zoast. But holy smokes, I can't believe he didn't get grabbed. I mean, let's not understate that. My goodness. I thought that was baby slowdown for sure. Oh, interesting. I was wondering what Cash was doing there. Looks like he tries to do the wraparound shot from the top, which I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone do before. I try to do the door wrap shot there from the bottom just before collecting the missile, which is a little bit more consistent for me. And he got the wraparound from the top, which is interesting. I'm not sure that I've seen that before. Have you used any?
I have, yes.
Oh, it is. Text is saying it's common. Okay, an oversight on my part then.
Yeah. So what text said is accurate. It was common before Moonfall.
Okay. Well, I'm a boomer in most parts of my life, but I guess I'm just a a zoomer when it comes to Super Metroid because I've only been in the community for about 3.5 years. So I did miss a lot of the history with strat development before the introduction of Moonfall. So I'll take that as a mea culpa, and I'll try to learn a little bit more. Thank you for the 411 text. Yeah, and as Chad is pointing out, Zenny, the weight is off your shoulders.
You did. We're not saying anything.
for reserve triggers, I think we're good.
For somehow, we're not saying anything. Okay? We're not saying anything. Just remember what Sassy always says. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, no soft lock on the baby. That's good. And no extreme slowdown.
Yeah.
So
Small graphical glitch there as the hyper beam got introduced to Samus, but no problem whatsoever. You know, I said low 115. I think maybe this actually could this still be a high 114? Oh, really nice. Very, very nicely executed blue bomber there. That's about the fastest way through that room.
Very nice strat. Really, really clean looking escape so far.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh yeah, gosh, this looks great. What an excellent escape.
Pretty good parlor. All right, and Zoast has an official race time of 1:14:58.
Nice, GG's. Get your GG's in chat for Zoast. Excellent escape, wrapping up that run. I'm sure he's going to be a little bit frustrated with some of the things that happened in the middle, but I thought he cleaned it up really nicely. He handled some of the ammo situations he had very well, and overall had a pretty nice Turian, including escaping the grim hands of Baby Slow by, I don't know, pixels or something. Absolutely. Meanwhile, let's enjoy some of these nice Metroid room strats from Cash. Oh, just missing that second super.
These Metroid rooms are so hard to do quickly and correctly. They're just very, very complex rooms. Overall, very clean from Cash.
I don't know how they compare to other speedruns in other games, but I do know that the inputs per second rate there in Metroid Room 3 in particular are among some of the highest that you could have in this game. It's incredibly complex when you're trying to do that room truly optimally, which Cash was going for there. All right, it looks like standard baby skip here. Is it going to be a 6 jump? Yeah, nicely executed there from kashmod. No doubt about that one. No holding our breath through the door transition. And goodness gracious, I just realized this. What a truckload of supers. I think Cash was holding all the supers that Zoast wasn't getting. My goodness. Zoast leaving X-Ray with 1. Cash with 18 heading into the Mother Brain room. My goodness. Or 17. My goodness.
It's a very, very comfortable amount of supers.
Yeah.
Nice skip.
Yeah, really nice. I was gonna say with that many, that's like you'd have that in GT Classic. You could have just blown through and done the easier second Zep skip, but no need. Cash just doing that nice down back skip. Even as a super sniped by the turret, doesn't matter, still winds up with 7 at the end.
Zoast is down for an interview, but he has not received an invite, so let's see what we can do to get that set up for him.
Ketchup right to the face. Oh god! Cash! Oh god! Okay. We avoided any final disaster there from the end of that Mother Brain 2 fight. My goodness. Took one to the face and just barely missed a second one. I'm not sure if the health was quite low enough for that to be a real issue, but glad that Cash made it through. And here we are, welcomed in by our winner and official first place time of 1:14.58. Zoast, GG's on that win and that run. GG's.
Thank you, Prof. What's going on, y'all?
What's going on?
Zoast. Hey, I just need to apologize. I know I said I was going to try not to commentators curse you. I did like 7 times. So every mistake you made, that's on me. Absolutely.
Well, I think one of them was my
on me.
fault. You pointed it out, Zenny. At least one of them was my fault. But in all seriousness, Zoast, we were absolutely losing our mind at 2 separate points. I think Zenny and I were in perfect sync, frame perfect sync when we were losing our minds at 2 points. One, first of all, incredible, and maybe the first ever, a 1-round missile Phantoon Doppler in a tournament race. GG's. And then second, we also want to talk about that baby skip because it looked like maybe a half pixel away from you getting grabbed. So I'm just curious to get your thoughts on both of those incredible moments in this run.
I was feeling the Doppler earlier, like right before I practiced it right before the run, just to get my rhythm right, and I was feeling really good about it. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's nice, but I don't want to take. I know it's like maybe the first one in a tournament, but I don't know if I deserve any first for 1-round Doppler.
I think it's the first one. I think it's the first missile Doppler 1 round in a race setting. I think it is.
That's cool though.
If I'm incorrect about that, feel free to let me know. If somebody in chat or whatever. I know I personally, I whiffed a super at the end of it in qualifier 8.
Oh yeah.
So I know it wasn't me. I haven't done it. So
it sounds like it might be that.
There have been 1-round Phantoons in races before in GV Classic with the microwave strat.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Still pretty hype. We both collectively lost our minds at that. It was such a really well executed Phantoon fight there. Really hyped to see that in a tournament. It raises the bar of this tournament. It's cool stuff, man.
Oh, and a baby skip. Yeah, that's just the power. That's the power of Statue skip right there. That just shows you the power. You can bonk the. Well, you can't if you go for the quicker version. Was it the one less jump? I don't think you can get away with that. But with the little bit safer version, I like to do. Yeah, you can bonk the freaking side ledge and still get in there sometimes.
It looked so look very close.
It was very close. I thought I got grabbed, but really I knew that it was a possibility that I didn't because I've had that happen to me with Statue Skipper. You kind of bonk, but you still don't get grabbed.
Yeah, looks like kashmod is finishing up here.
I just wish that mid segment had gone better because I was feeling pretty good about that run until Green Brand or so, or Maridia, because it was going pretty damn well,
It was looking
absolutely.
like you were on a really sick pace, and things came undone just a little bit, but I thought you pulled it together well, especially considering you had 1 super coming out of X-Ray, and I thought you did a lot of nice things to adjust for that and still pulled off some pretty sick strats, and pulled off a 114, which is no small task in a tournament race.
Yeah, I'm happy I collected myself and pulled out a 114 with it at least.
GG's in chat, please, by the way, for kashmod, finishing with an official race time of 1:21:36, which is I think close to a personal best there for Cash, according to at least the qualifiers that he was running. So GG's there to Cash, finishing off strong.
What is that noise?
Sorry, my cat just started coughing next to me and I didn't mute in time.
Okay.
I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. Well, yeah, huge GG Zoast.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was a little distracted. Were there any highlights of the run aside from the one round Phantoon that you would like to talk about?
I know there was some cool stuff that happened, but I can't remember what it was now. As I'm very helpful, aren't I? I don't remember. I mean, I don't have too much to say about it. Like I said, I was pretty happy about it. It's the fastest pace going into like out of criteria elevator after Rex ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like it wasn't quite on my PB pace, but it was like within like maybe 10 seconds, which I was like, that's pretty awesome because I hadn't been that close since I came back to it, so that feels good.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Let's take that away from it, I think.
I did mention on the stream you got the Samus Expert Master back gauntlet spark. That was pretty hype. So
Yeah.
Oh, there was something else new. I think Zenny did it for the first time a couple nights ago or last night. You pulled off the strat in Wasteland, the new strat in Wasteland with the spark up through the Kazan, which was pretty hype too. You had to make a little adjustment at the end there, it looked like, based on where you wound up, but I thought you handled it really nicely, and you got that pretty sweet deboost out of it.
I haven't totally nailed down what I want to do in that room, so I was semi-improvising there. But I do like the spring ball into like aiming down off the deboost. If you aim down with the deboost, it gives you a better chance of getting over that right side, I think.
Mhm.
They used to do that with low percent ice when I was trying to first figured out how to like do that Kago, or not Kago, but clip deboost out of low percent ice there. So took that from that, and yeah, that's what happened there. I was pretty happy about that though, getting that spring ball into, aiming down deboost. I don't know if the aim down was necessary that time, but yeah, I was pretty happy that was got in there. My own particular way of doing that strat, I suppose.
yeah, good stuff, definitely. We are working on getting kashmod an invite. One of the Speedgaming team is working on that for us, so for the interview.
I was a little sad I didn't have supers for Ridley to do the spring ball opening. That the last time I did it, well, the first time I did it in the qualifier, they thought I'd made a mistake or something. They were like, "Oh, it got stuck under the platform,"
Oh yeah.
Which was awesome. I can understand because it looked really janky, but I just thought that was hilarious.
All right.
I think kashmod's in setup, yeah.
Yeah, can we bring him in here? I don't know how to bring him in. Here we go.
I didn't mean to super the E-Tank at Croc, by the way.
You did mean to super the E-Tank. Okay, so I
did not.
Oh, you did not? Okay.
No, I meant to missile it, but not super it.
I kind of thought maybe you were doing it out of spite, but...
Yeah, I figured you might as well say something. GG kashmod, sorry.
GG's.
Yeah, GG. And welcome. We cannot hear you. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Move back into setup.
Kashmod came in and said, "Hey, nobody's talking to me. I'm leaving."
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, GG.
Yes, we can hear you. GG.
GG.
Sweet, thanks. Yeah, it was a fun race. GG Zoast. The one round, that was incredible.
Thanks.
Yeah, Prof and I lost our collective mind.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing that moment on the stream.
It's pretty crazy.
You had a pretty nice Phantoon fight too, Cash. You pulled off that picture-perfect 2-round with the X Factor and then the ballistics on the back end for that standard KPDR that I know you're really comfortable with. That was really nicely executed.
Yeah, for sure. I'm working on the Doppler, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, Cash, let me ask you, just right off the top, you and I have faced each other a lot in competition in a number of different categories. but I don't think I've seen you post a hundo time before these quals. Is this actually a relatively new category for you, despite having like 4 or 5 or more years of experience with SM?
Not really, actually. I just never really posted any times up on
Okay.
speedrun.com, but I just mostly run the shorter categories, and then Hundo is like, oh, I got tournament coming up. Let's start playing it again.
Nice.
Which is kind of nice. I have a lot of, time save, see a lot of green on my splits. But yeah, it's fun.
That always feels good, and a nice time too. Mid 121 is really good, and it was right up there with your best qual times, I think. So pretty nice run overall.
1 second PB.
Oh, GG is nice.
GG.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, overall good run.
Were there any highlights of your run that you want to talk about, or any low points?
I mean, from gravity, like basically to Mama Turtle, was just, I got 4 golds in a row, so that felt really nice. Just
very nice.
Segment after segment. Yeah, there's a bunch of like faster strats, like the faster reverse attic strat I've been working on, that that came through this round.
Yeah, you did a really nice street sweeper there. I remember that. That was really, really nicely done.
Yeah, so just some things that I've been working on have kind of come through, and the things that I haven't been practicing didn't really work out well. So I guess it all makes sense,
Well, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but I know that Zoast and I have both talked about how when we practice something, it goes poorly for the next 3 days, and then it gets better. So
true.
Absolutely.
Well, GG to both of you. Zoast is the official winner of this matchup, so he will be moving on to round 2. Kashmod, we will see you move down to the lower bracket. But beyond that, I just want to give my usual thanks to Speedgaming for hosting this tournament, and I want to give a shout out to Prof for the helping on commentary tonight. As well as, make sure to follow the runners. Can we get a shout out in the chat to follow the runners if we haven't done that already? And looks like we got P-Toil versus A Real Cutie coming up 1 hour from now on Speedgaming 3 right here. So any final words, Professor School?
No, I echo your sentiment, Zenny. It was a lot of fun being on here to do comms with you. Thanks to chat for keeping it lively. And wish you, Cash and Zoast, best luck in your next matches. Cash going to be going up against Amarovsky in the redemption bracket, and Zoast has Omni. So y'all have 2 exciting matches coming up. We wish you the best of luck in those and with your prep going forward.
Good luck, Cash.
Yeah, good luck to you, Zoast.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. With that, I guess we will end off here.
See you next mission.